Welcome back. Today we have a highly requested video. In this video right here, I'm going to be giving you my exact settings, and I'm also going to do a quick overview of what I think are the best settings for Jarvee in 2019. Jarvee is, of course, a social media automation or Instagram bot, if you prefer that name, program for both Mac and Windows. And essentially what this program does is you hook up your Instagram account to it and it will automatically do all the things that you can do as a person, follow and interact with on Instagram. It's gonna do it automatically, so it's gonna help you grow your Instagram account on autopilot. So people ask me all the time, what are the settings that I use for Jarvee? And unfortunately, there's no one setting group that's best. Everybody needs to tweak around and play with it. But I think that I have here some of the best settings out there for Jarvee. I mean, it's what I personally use. Everybody that I've used this for gets at least 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 in some cases follows every single day. So in this video, like I said, we're gonna be going over the best settings to use for Jarvee. Feel free to copy these settings if you want. I'm also gonna leave a little link down below to the screenshots of it so you don't have to follow super closely. So let's get right into it. My name is Bobby, AKA the Influencer CEO, and this is the #1 channel for anybody looking to 10x their brand. So Monday we got motivation videos. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, social media automation videos just like this where we teach you how to grow your Instagram on autopilot. And then Friday, Saturday, we have more social media type videos where I go over my experience as an Instagram agency owner out here in Hollywood. So let's get right into it. These are my settings that I use for Jarvee. And I'm also gonna kind of explain my mentality, why I think that these settings are so good, and why your settings, if you've ever used Jarvee before, which I'll leave a free link to in the description below if you are looking to try it out, also an explainer of why I think so many people are having a hard time with Jarvee, and an explainer of why my settings are so good. So let's get right into it. All right, so here we are inside of Jarvee, and if you're wondering how did we get here, what does this look like? What is Jarvee? What is social media automation? Check out some of our past videos where we deep dive into Jarvee, setting it up. We go super deep into it. So this video, we're just gonna hop right in and we're gonna be doing 3 things on Jarvee right now for settings. I'm gonna be giving you the settings to 3 things because personally, they are the staples for Instagram automation, and it's what you can use immediately right now. You can plug in these settings right now, watch these videos, plug in these settings and be immediately successful. So we're gonna be going over following, unfollowing, and DM. So that is using Jarvee, a social media automation program, to automatically follow on our Instagram's behalf, unfollow on our Instagram's behalf, and then DM on our Instagram's behalf. So here we are inside of the follow tool. So right now I have this set to 685 to 700 per day. So Jarvee is going to be following around 700 people per day. Wow, that is a lot of people. That's right, it is a lot of people, because if you want serious Instagram growth, you're going to have to follow around 700 to 800 people. Think about it. If you follow 800 people and you get 50% of them to follow you back, which is a huge fucking number, that's only 400 followers per day. So that's like the bare minimum. So I don't always follow this many people. I switch it up. But I'm just gonna show you that that's the setting I have right now. So some days it'll be 700, some days it'll be 300. But right now I have Jarvee set to following 700 people per day. It's got a nice warm-up period right here. So it starts with 35 and then increases till it gets to 700. And I'm running Jarvee all day long. I'm waiting between every 13 to 19 minutes. I'm following 14 to 17 people with a delay of 20 to 30 seconds in between. That's kind of boring stuff right there. So you can just kind of copy and paste this, switch around a little as you want. But here is, kind of the secret sauce of my settings. So what a lot of people get wrong when they're using social media automation is 2 things. 1, they don't have any user filters. So basically they're just following anybody. And then 2, the sources that they're following are too vague. So let's start with number 1. So number 1 right here, we have user filters. When you're using Jarvee, you want to use as many user filters as possible, right? Because when we're out here following people automatically, we want to make sure that we're only interacting with human, English if you're in America, active Instagram users. Why? because those are the people that are most engaged and active on Instagram. They're the people that are most likely to come to our page, enjoy our content, and actually contribute to our page and not become ghost followers. So always make sure you're doing as much in your power to filter down people to make sure we're only attracting real Instagram users, right? So I have skipped non-English users. We only want English users because I am an English profile. We want to make sure they have a profile image. If they don't have a profile image, they're most likely a bot or just a fake profile or just not active on Instagram. We want to make sure they have at least 6 Instagram posts, making sure they're active. And we want to make sure that their user bio name does not have any of these words. This is another really crucial one right here. So these are words like free, followers, like, hack, bot, giveaway, fans, fame. Why? Because most accounts that have these keywords in their bio are fake or spam accounts. And we don't want that. We want only real users. Social media automation is a tool to attract real people to your page, for you to constantly be shaking hands and saying, hello, hi, my name is Bobby, come check out my Instagram page. I have amazing content. You're amazing, I'm amazing. Let's rock, let's roll. Not to just get as many fake followers as possible. That's not what we're doing. Social media automation should help you increase your brand on autopilot, right? So I also have, user has a number of follow to followers in a specific range. We want to make sure that they have 0 to 5,000 followings. And to be honest, I usually have this at 2,000. So they're only following like 2,000 people. Why? Every single time I post a picture, I need to know that they see my content. The more people that they're following, the more people that I have to compete with every single time I post. And that means that I'm decreasing the chances of them actually seeing my post if I target somebody that has a ton of people that they're following. So keep it within the, 0 to 2,000 range. I also want to make sure that they posted in the last 30 days. Once again, I'm just checking that little checkbox to make sure that I'm following active users. I want to make sure that the user is not already following this account. That's redundant. I want to make sure that I'm not following private users. Private users normally want to stay private. I do not want to follow accounts with more than 4 digits in their username. Why? Spam accounts usually have like, it'll be like Instagram 555-33333. We don't want to follow any of those bullshit accounts, right? And then we want to follow both males and females. I suggest if you're a female and you don't want creepy guys to follow only females, you know, and if you have like a basketball page or something, athletic sports, you want to follow only men, that'll increase your follow back ratio. So after that, this is something really important that a lot of people don't know about Jarvee. You want to mute them after you follow them. So why do we do this? Because we don't want to see random people's posts on our Instagram feed all day. Or at least I don't. So if I'm following 700 to 800 people per day, that's a lot. And it means your Instagram feed is going to change. And it's just going to ruin your Instagram experience. So personally, I like to mute them so I don't see their content after I follow them. Because remember, you're going to unfollow them anyways. So that is my follow settings. And so that's, remember what I said, that's part 1 to being successful on Jarvee. Is regardless if you use my settings or not, there's 2 portions to being successful on Jarvee. So 1 is having good settings where you're making sure you're filtering to get the most active users as possible, and 2, making sure that your follow sources are really good. So a lot of times people will get into here and type in big Instagram pages like Kevin Hart, Kim Kardashian. You want to make sure that you're going as niche and targeted as possible. Make sure you're only putting in follow sources of people that follow, 200 that have 200 to 500,000 followers, or even from that 50,000 to 100,000 follower range, right? Now I'm going to stop really quick. If you are listening to this or watching this video and you're thinking, I'm kind of confused, go back and watch some of my other videos on Jarvee where I actually set Jarvee up so you're familiar with what I'm speaking with. Now let's go on. All right, so now let's go to unfollow or unfollow. So just make sure that your unfollow is matching your follow. So what that means is basically if I'm following 500 people per day, I'm unfollowing 500 people per day. That's simple. Once again, I'm going to leave the screenshots to these settings. And the other thing that you need to make sure is you need to, before you do anything with social media automation with Jarvee, make sure that we import our whitelist. Basically, that's all of the people, all of our original friends. It'll load up into here to make sure that we never unfollow any of our friends or people that we really care about, to make sure that we never unfollow them and get that to that awkward situation where, why did you unfollow me? And you go, oh, it wasn't me, it was a program, right? So just make sure we have all of our followers in a whitelist before we start automation so we do not unfollow them. So that's basically it for unfollow. And now, I don't even think I have this on for this person, but the last thing that we need to do to be successful on Jarvee and have amazing Jarvee settings is we need to send people messages. So go to the contacts tool, and we need to make sure that we're sending messages to new followers. So a lot of people are unsuccessful on Jarvee because they get a good amount of followers. They get 80 to 100 plus followers per day using a software like Jarvee, but their engagement dips. And there's a couple reasons your engagement can dip. Number one is you just don't post a lot on Instagram. So what I equate it to is a lot of people get on Jarvee, get a lot of followers, follow, unfollow type strategy, and then meet all these people, and all these people say, hey, I like your page, I see that you followed me, I'm following you back, but then you don't post, you're not active, and then they go, huh, I forgot about this guy. And then next time you post, they forgot about you. So it's kind of like this, it's kind of like getting somebody's phone number. Somebody following you is the equivalent of getting their phone number and then never calling them back. So one is make sure you're posting a lot and being consistent on Instagram. That'll increase your engagement. And the second thing is, I just always like to send a DM to all of my new followers. This really helps increase engagement and create a connection. So let's say that I'm a snowboarder, and I'm using Jarvee to go and attract people that also like to snowboard. Every time I get a new follower, I'll say, hey, I love snowboarding. I see you do too. Where do you board at? I have no idea if people say that. I'm just gonna assume that snowboarders say, bro, where do you board at? But basically, we're creating an immediate organic connection with the person. And if you're doing your targeting right, you should only be following people that would already be interested within your Instagram page. So if you're doing magic, you should only be following people that do magic. So when they follow you back, it's because they're interested in magic. So we want to say something like, hey man, I love magic. Do you like magic? Whatever bullshit you want to do, throw it in there and people will comment back and it'll create an immediate connection. It'll boost your engagement. So I always like to do that. And my settings for that are basically, I only send like 40 to 50 DMs per day. I'm just trying to create as many connections as possible. And I always make sure that I message my new followers saying, hey, thanks for the follow. I love your page. Just really create that connection and do anything you can to just create a connection to increase engagement with your followers, because 1 to 2 years from now, we want to build up as many real fucking followers as we can. So we build up a community that we can use to sell, monetize, promote our products, whatever we want to do. So those are my exact settings for Jarvee. Super simple, super basic. So now let's go back and let's review what we just talked about. And then I'm going to give you guys a link for you to download these settings and get the screenshots so you don't have to keep pausing this video. All right, so there you go. Those were my settings for Jarvee that I use and what I consider to be the best settings for Jarvee in 2019. Now I just want to give you guys a little mindset tips for going into social media automation and just some overall tips for being successful with Jarvee and social media automation. So just remember a couple things. One is we want to be as real and organic as possible. So when you're doing your settings and you're setting things up, think about it like this. Is this something that I would do naturally if I had all day to do? What does that mean? It means that when we're setting it up, if I'm setting up my account to do 500 follows, every 20 to 30 seconds, 10 followers for 3 hours, just think, is this something that I would do as a person? And if the answer is yes, you're on the right track. If the answer is no, no human could possibly follow 900 people per day within an hour, then you're on the wrong track, because we want to use social media automation as an aid, not a cure, okay? Not a cure-all for Instagram success, right? So social media automation is just something to help us, because us as busy entrepreneurs, business owners, I don't know, whatever you do within your brand, social media automation is just an aid. So just make sure to keep it as organic as possible. And in the long run, you're gonna be rewarded with a nice, authentic, engaging, organic audience. That's number one. Number two is when you're creating your settings, like I said, the biggest problems people run into is one, they don't put user filters and they just follow anybody. So it's like the equivalent of you going into a bar and just going for the first sloppy drunk girl and taking her home, right? So we want our 10, all right? We want to go to the bar, look around, find that nice blonde with the big ass, and we just want to sit on a while. We want to court her. We want to take her home, not the sloppy 3 who's puking in the bathroom, right? So we want to make sure that we're only bringing 10s to our Instagram account. So use user filters and make sure you're only attracting active followers on Instagram. The other problem people have with Jarvee and their settings is when it comes to accounts they're targeting, the followers of people's accounts, they're choosing accounts that are too large, like Kevin Hart and Kim Kardashian. Make sure we're targeting niche accounts. You know, like if you're a Magic user, and you know, make sure that we're targeting other Magic users. Or if we're a basketball page, make sure we're targeting other basketball pages within the 10,000 to 500,000 range. And if you're thinking to myself, well, I don't know anybody else that's like me, that's your problem. Because Instagram is very specific. You need to define your niche before you use social media automation. Now, the next step, remember, is we want to make sure that we're being active on our Instagram page, because that'll increase our engagement. And also we want to try sending a DM and creating a genuine connection that will also help increase engagement in the long run. So like I said, if you want the settings to this, if you want the settings, type in "I want in" below, and then maybe leave me a nice compliment. No, you don't gotta do that. Just type in "I want in" below, and I will send you a link to the settings that we just went over right there. So that's it. Make sure you like and subscribe if you found this information at all useful. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.